All right, the session is now being recorded now. Cool, awesome. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and Andy this afternoon. That if you have any issues, just let Andy know, and he can help you with any trouble that you have. So today I'll be going over some of the recent updates that we did, and also let everyone know some of the future plans that we have. And of course, I want this to be a two-way conversation. So at any point you have questions, just simply stop me and just ask me whatever question that you have. I want to start out with our what we really try to do. And our goal is really to create the world's first and most open, of course, the largest open web conferencing network. And we really want BigMarker to become a global destination for people to host live conferences, live events, for people to come and find other people that's doing similar things than they are, to learn from others, and to share their knowledge on the topics that they're really passionate about. So, in that sense, you can see that, from our current and the past few updates that we've been going, we're going a lot towards this direction. So, a little quick, a background. The company was formed like back in 2011, and for the first couple years, first 2.5 years, we were mostly really focusing on developing the conference room to really improve the quality, improve the reliability, to make the conference room as smooth as possible. Some of you started with us from the very beginning, and you can see that the difference that we have made in the past few years. So now we're to the point that the conference room, the features and reliability has dramatically improved, and now that we can really improve on the other features that can really create people to bring them as an online destination for online conferencing. So a few quick updates of what's been happening recently. So the past few weeks, as you can already notice, that we did a big overhaul in terms of adding search and discovery, a better search and discovery right from our homepage. So before, when we were, mostly last year, the search and discovery was a separate page. Now that we changed that, and then we made it, the search and discovery as right on the homepage. You can search for the conferences and communities that you're passionate about right away. Most recently, we also added the ability to categorize conferences and categories and communities. So when people search, they can browse by different categories, by different conferences, and the same thing. Now, when people join, they can select what they're interested about. So it's very, when you create a new account today, it's going to ask you, what are the topics that you're interested in, you want to follow, and our goal is to, once we know what our users want, we can provide them with a recommendation list of the type of conferences and communities that they want, they're interested in joining, right, or attending. So we did speed and categorization. And the next one that recently we just added is the ability for people to create Facebook events right after they create a conference. So we recently made a small adjustment. So last week when we first rolled out Facebook events, we had to request special permission from Facebook when they log in that we can manage their Facebook events. This actually alarmed a lot of people that when they were even not creating a conference, they were asked to grant us the permission, which confused quite a few people. So we made a small tweak. So after you create a conference, and you said, so I want to share this on the Facebook events, then you can ask for the permission on the Facebook events from Facebook to grant you that permission. So it causes much less confusion, and we hope that when people create Facebook events, that they can spread it among their friends, and of course give them a good reminder at different locations. And I think this is an update that was asked by many people, which is daily digest emails. A lot of people, like a lot of communities on BigMarker recently has been growing really fast, and that results in a lot of emails get sent out. And of course, when those emails get sent out, when it's a few hundred people community, there's a lot of comments, a lot of emails going back and forth. People's inbox were getting bombarded, and this was one of the very heavily requested features that we can turn on and give people a summary of what's happening in their community without bombarding them with an email every time there's a new activity. Because some people are actually getting too much, and they ended up turning off the emails completely. Does it make sense so far? Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to stop me.
I'm here to get an update desk sharing today because unfortunately every time I ask, no matter who I ask, it just keeps getting put off and off and off, and it's a very important feature for my business.
That's an awesome question. That's actually part of my the next slides that come up, which is talk about our upcoming features. A few of the key ones. We have a lot of small features coming out, but a lot of big ones too. So that's a good segue for going to. Oh wait, right before I go into the next, talk about desktop sharing, just want to let everybody know that we added ability for people to do mass imports. So if you have a lot of people that you want to place into your community, instead of doing an invite, you can actually we're going to actually help you just put people into the community with a mass import. So that'll send out a much more customized invitation email. So you can send us an invitation template, and we can set that out. So upcoming updates, Alan, I guess this one is what you were asking for. Yes, we've been getting a lot of requests about screen sharing. Screen sharing, initially was part of the BigMarker conference room, but because of performance issues, we took it out because it was causing a lot of issues to other people that the performance was having issues. So we took it off and just decided to completely overhaul it. And so for the past 6 months, we've been working really hard on this. We have 3 engineers just completely dedicated on getting screen sharing working and enhanced. I actually just got a first peek of the really, the first version of it, and we're making really good progress in bringing screen sharing. So this is it is coming very, very soon, and it's our top list of priorities for the things that we want to roll out. So this is we're putting a lot of focus on screen sharing right now to really make sure we can bring a good experience. Does that answer your question, Alan?
Nope. Because this is the same thing I've been hearing for probably 4 months now. So I'm trying to plan, and I've got about a half a dozen different conferences for different industry niches. I've got 4 of my conferences are with huge marketing partners, and we're all waiting for screen sharing, and I can't do anything more without it.
Right. I totally understand the need for it. That's why we're putting a lot of our resources on making sure that when we roll out desktop sharing, it's going to work well, and we're going to extensively testing it so that when it's released, it will perform well.
I have very same issue. I have the need to do online trainings for or a CMS platform that I use, and currently I can't do that because I can't share my screen with my viewers. It makes it also very difficult to demonstrate that to potential clients. The other thing that I am intensely interested in is the ability to share video in a conference as well. Is that anywhere on the horizon?
So desktop sharing and video sharing is two of our top priorities. And in terms of the conference room roadmap, screen sharing being the current focus that we want to really get screen sharing done first before moving on to either video sharing or other abilities such as co-browsing. I think you can open up a website and everybody can co-browse the website. So that's in exploratory phase. But right now, our biggest focus in terms of the conference room is really to get screen sharing going, and we're very close. I really appreciate your patience, but we're very close. We're not in months, but we're in weeks of time frame.
Is your testing internal?
I'm sorry? I'm sorry, can you say that again?
So can you say that we'll have this in February? We'll have this in March? We'll have it in June?
Frame, yes. It's more of the February, March time frame. So we will. It's really like depends on how many weeks it's going to take to get testing finished. We want to really extensively testing it because when we roll it out, we want you guys to have a really good experience. So I can't promise exactly how many weeks, but I can say it's really close as we're starting to test it. But I think we're still going to have some kind of refinement add to it. So it should be very, very soon. Within the first quarter. So the next thing I was going to give an update on is we're actually adding internationalization onto the website. So that's two components that we're adding. One is we have a lot of international users that they use our sites. Right now, of course, it's available in English, but we have a lot of Spanish users, Chinese users, Portuguese users, and of course, recently we have a surge of people from Serbia that's been using our site, and we're adding a systematic approach where we can actually translate every component of the website so it's available in other languages. So the things that get translated, it's not just like the text or the copy, but in addition also the formatting of such as time. In the U.S. we have 12-hour times, but in other countries there's like in 24-hour time frames, and same thing goes with currency and also the formatting of numbers. So these will also get internationalized. Another thing that we're adding in is more server locations around the world. So right now we have North America, South America. We have servers in Europe, Southeast Asia, mainly in Singapore, and then in East Asia and at Japan. So people, this is really helpful if you host international conferences and your audiences are global, and you can choose a server that's closer to your audience, so that you can have a better experience in terms of reducing the latency. And that our latest servers that we're adding soon is Australia. So that one will be up and running pretty soon also, so that our friends from the Southern Hemisphere can also have a really good experience. And the last major update that I want to provide that's coming up, which is we're actively developing our first mobile app, mainly the mobile version of conferencing. So as you know, right now the website is very mobile friendly. So you go on BigMarker.com, whether you're on a website on your desktop, or you are on a tablet, or you're on a phone. The website is designed responsively, so it adjusts itself based on the size of the screen. So everything that you can do on a desktop can be done on a mobile phone, except for the conference room. Because the conference room right now is based in Flash, and a lot of mobile platform doesn't support it. So we are now working very hard to get our first version of the mobile conference system, so you can actually attend conferences on your phone and also on your tablets. So that will also be really exciting. That's all the upcoming major features that are happening in the slides. But the other features that we're adding is we're going to be adding a lot more features that's really helpful for community organizers and also people that's hosting conferences to give you more tools to engage your audience. Some of the tools that we're going to be adding, such as recurring conferences, so the ability for you to create a conference but set a time frame so it's repeat itself. So you can actually then, and same thing, this will work together with the ticketing. So when you set up a conference that you want to charge for, instead of just charging for one conference, you can actually charge people for a series of a conference, such as a lecture. The other things that we're adding also on the ticketing front is actually demand-based ticketing. So this goes that so based on what's the availability and the time frame of when people make their RSVPs or the reservations for the conference they're attending, we can set up choose different prices to charge people at different levels. Some other things that we're working on is give you more insights to the people in your community, such as more analytics of data, so you can see who's posting, who joined, a dashboard view of like what is really happening in your community, so you can manage, see which members are most active, what events cause it most active, which type of conferences it drives most type of traffic, and then where do people come and RSVP. Does that make sense?
Another question, if I might. Is there any foreseen ability to be able to set up webinars through local landing pages so that we can, collect information on people who are signing up and so forth? But currently, we don't have access to that, so we really don't have much information on who is attending a conference.
Okay, that's a really good question. So the thing we're trying to do is really try to balance the users' privacy and also what the conference hosts and the organizers is try to approach. So one thing we have in our privacy clause is that we protect our users' privacy, but of course we understand the need for organizers to contact those the people that's joined the community, both on BigMarker and also off BigMarker. So there's two things that we're going to do to help that. So one of them is we're going to add the ability, basically, you can make announcements. So only organizers will be able to send out email announcements to everybody in the community. We're going to set up the custom subject line, who's it from, and you can blast that email out to everybody in the community, and the only organizers will be able to do that. And the other option that we're exploring right now, and we're working with our lawyers to make sure that it's good legally, which is when people join a community, we allow them the ability to actually opt in to share other information that they have. So if you as an organizer wants to gather new members' emails, you can ask for their permission and see if and if the user grants it, then you can get this information as well. But we're working that through our lawyers right now to make sure that everything we do is compliant with our privacy policy. So exactly how the mechanism works, I'll probably can have an update for you next month. Does that answer your question, Donald?
Somewhat. I'm a little concerned about a couple of aspects. One is that the way our community will develop, we're going to have up to 50 or more what I would call regional subgroups, each of whom could possibly organize their own conferences and events. The way I understand what you're saying is that they would not have the same privileges as an organizer. Is that true? And if so, can we appoint other organizers?
Yes. So in a BigMarker community, you can have as many organizers as you want. So you just have to appoint them to give them an administrative role. So if you want somebody else to manage this community, or have multiple people manage the community, you can definitely appoint them, assign them into an organizer. You can do that today through going to the settings section of a community, and then click on make this person as the organizer. So then they'll have but please know that when you do that, they'll have full access to the entire control panel.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Do you have any?
I have a couple of partners. Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
I have a couple of marketing partners, and they want to know they're interested in revenue sharing, of course, and
Okay.
they want to know how it's certain that they're getting their fair share of revenues collected. Do you have anything to offer up to that question?
Yeah. So right now there's two ways to. So right now there's two ways to share revenues. One is like when you sell tickets on BigMarker.com. So when you host a conference, you can set up the conference as ticketing event. So as you say, like to attend this conference, I'm going to charge $10 per person. And the other way is to do it is also you can set the conference as a chip-in event. So the attendees choose how much they want to give. So it's completely voluntary. And for those kind of transactions, the split, of course, is the organizer gets 90% of the revenue, and then BigMarker charges a 10% of the transaction. And the other one is a subscription model. Basically, you can ask your members of your community to pay a membership due, and you can set the membership due as a monthly charge, a 6-month charge, or a annual charge, and like the ticketing charge is also 10% transaction fee for BigMarker, and then the organizers would get the rest, 90%. Does that answer your question?
That would not satisfy my marketing partners. My marketing partners own many LinkedIn groups, and they want to promote through their LinkedIn groups, and they're looking for something like they've come to me with an application called ClickBox, or let's see what what they call that. I guess they're looking for a PayPal type of a solution. If I'm the organizer, there's no way for them to audit right now. Unless maybe something like they had suggested an app called, I'm looking for the application, but I can't put my finger on it right now.
Okay. Right, so maybe for the moment, that's our
ClickBank is what they call. They're looking for something like. Have you ever heard of ClickBank?
No, I have not. Right, so right now, I mean, is that sort of like this purely payment transaction? I mean, there's so right now on the marketplace, there's quite a few players that you're just purely looking for a payment transaction. There's like services such as Stripe, Authorize.net, PayPal that can provide that kind of service. Within BigMarker itself, like we really want to focus on people hosting conferences, joining communities. So that's the two main source of revenue a organizer can have for the moment. But we do have one thing that is in the planning, and it's actually in the testing phase, but we still need to do more tweaking. And it's actually your community can get sponsored. And this is a very preliminary feature set, which is that once your community start to grow, you can actually ask what other businesses can come and sponsor your community, and you can basically once the community gets sponsored, depends on what the company is willing to pay. You get sponsored, whether get your subscription paid out or it's a larger sum. The community, the organizer can generate revenue that way also.
So you have no objection then if I'm able to attract volumes of takers to a specific conference to charge through ClickBank and then just send them a link to my specific conference on BigMarker?
I don't actually quite understand what you try to do with ClickBank. Are you trying to say like collect payment information from a different website, and then after they you collect that information, send them the link onto BigMarker?
Right.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like you can certainly do that today. Basically, if you set up your own payment system, collect tickets, you're welcome to do that. We had a conference earlier last year that actually the person did exactly that. So basically, they hosted a whole online convention where they were selling tickets somewhere else. Once the people buy the tickets, they send them a link. Of course, you want to do that, you can definitely do that. The infrastructure that we provide, that if you don't want to do that yourself, and you want to just like sell tickets on BigMarker and leverage other people that's coming to BigMarker to promote your conference, then you can definitely take advantage of the BigMarker RSVP system. But you can definitely set up conferences outside of it. Yeah, there's no objection on our part.
So you could do both.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Set up a whole range of even partnership feeds, enrolling people for a conference outside of the BigMarker structure, and feeding them all into the same links up to the capacity of your conference.
Right. You can
promote it.
Right, you can promote the conference any way you want, right? I mean, whether you can do it through a separate landing page, or you can push it. We can help you feature it on our homepage. So we're also rolling out different sections of our pages and targeting specific categories, so we can help you promote it through there also. So promotion-wise, we're very open to suggestions. So just let us know. Joe, you have a question?
Okay, that's very helpful.
So I use BigMarker a little differently than some people. I'm getting some feedback. I'm a professor, so I use it to teach, and it's been working really well.
Okay.
But I have some like questions about where it might go for this kind of venue. One of the things that I was curious about is if there was a way to have breakout rooms.
Oh, okay. For breakout rooms. So right now so you're saying like once you have a big conference, and you want to split attendees into separate rooms.
Right. So I
Right.
use it for small seminars, small doctoral seminars. So even if I just wanted to put 2 people into a separate little room, it would be really nice for them to be able to chat and then come back into the big room.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's we actually got a few requests for that too. We're exploring the way, like what's the best way to do it most elegantly. I can give an example of last year. So there was a group. I think you can. They're a group hosted by, I believe the guy's name is Dan Blank, and he hosted a all-day conference on some on writing skills, I believe, and and it was like different classes, different lessons. So when he prepared a whole day session, what he did was create a big conference for the overall group, and he created sub conferences. So even though it's not a breakout room, it's a way for people to click on a link once inside the conference group to redirect them into it. So because within your community, there's no limit on how many conferences you can create. So that's one way to approach it. But we're definitely looking to a more elegant solution to see how to make the conference. You can split it up, you can come back in, and give you the organizers more control.
It's a great tool for teaching. It's a really
absolutely.
Absolutely. The thing would be nice is to be able to type on that board.
Oh, type on the whiteboard, right? That's okay. That's a really good suggestion. We're
and then the only other thing is there a purpose behind not being able to upload documents only 30 minutes before? Like, why can't we upload get things ready before 30 minutes before?
So for the documents before 30 minutes, are you saying like pre-uploaded before the conference gets started? Yeah. And it's always ready, right? So this is something we're actually really exploring and actually being talking about a lot with internally. And we think we can do this fairly quickly, and which is ability once you set up your conference page, the files that you upload onto the discussion board, that we can actually make those files available once your conference starts. So the conference wouldn't necessarily start before the 30 minutes, but it'll be as soon as the conference starts, all the files that you pre-uploaded will be available. And the other option that we're considering, which is make some of the files that's in the community, when you upload it onto the community bulletin board, you can actually mark it as, hey, I want to make this file always available for all the conferences I host, so this will also show up. Would that be helpful, or?
I think so. It would be nice to be able to have stuff up and be able to practice a little bit to make sure everything worked before just 3 minutes.
Makes sense. I'll definitely take a note of that. We can see how what's the complexity behind it. Donna, I think your microphone is off.
Could you spend a
Okay, no, I can hear you. It's good. It's good now.
Sorry. I have some of that same interest in being able to not only set up a conference at the time I book a meeting with a client, but also to add to it the documents that I'm going to do, like presentation slides and so forth, so that I can rehearse them, and the conference is all ready to go, and the day and the time of the conference, I can go in there and just start it up, and I know that it's ready to go. I don't have to mess around in my prep time doing that. So I'd be most interested in having that ability to be able to tag documents. It's not so, I wouldn't be that interested in being able to do that and just have them out there in the general public. Anybody who could, see that conference coming up to be able to grab those slides or documents or whatever it is, because I customize them to a particular client. I'm not really interested in having other potential clients be able to see that information. So I'd like to be able to tag it to a specific conference and have it be in that same container as the rest of my conference information, and then go on from there. Does that make sense?
Just not 30 minutes. We really only get 15 minutes because people can come in 15 minutes before, right?
Right. Okay. So.
15 minutes for me, that's just not enough time.
Okay. So it sounds like there's two things that might be helpful. One is so in addition to sharing your files to the conference landing page where you can upload to the conference bulletin. Maybe we can add a section that's that only the presenters can add files to. That you can pre-upload certain set of files, and only the presenters and the organizers can see those files. The attendees wouldn't be able to see them. But once you upload those files, we can make those files available as soon as the conference opens. So that's one thing. And the other one that we're going to explore is really just to give the conference room more leeway in terms of open it earlier, maybe open 45 minutes earlier, or open an hour earlier. The reason that we opened the conference only 30 minutes earlier is we have two sets of servers. One set of that's permanent, and the other set is, of course, is cloud-based. So, as a service provider, that we try to be as lean as possible, and not to charge any more than we have to. So we try to minimize those costs, and the opening time each, some of the services that we pay is paid by hour. So if we open up earlier, we just have to pay more. And when there's 6,000 conferences going on, they do tend to add up. There's 15, 30 minutes. So that's one of the reasons. But we're gonna definitely look into if there's other ways that we can either open a conference room earlier through a separate platform, or a way to to make preparation easier. And of course, I think a lot of these will be helped once we have screen sharing, because then you'll be able to just open up the files that you have already and show that file. So.
Can you talk for a minute briefly about your financial model? We like you guys. We'd like to see you stay around for a while, but don't understand how you're going to make any money.
So our revenue stream right now is really, one is through the paid subscriptions. So when people create a community, it's $20 a month. So that's one of the main revenue streams. And the second revenue streams is, of course, the one we talked about earlier, through ticketing sales and also through community subscription dues. And lastly, the other one is like, the ones that we're adding right now, which is, the ability for you to receive sponsorships. So depends on the amount of sponsorships, the split in revenue is another stream for us. And in addition to our financials, right now we're backed by a group of private investors. So that's where the funding comes from in terms of building our development team and also our operations. And so far things have been going really well, and we'll probably be raise a new series of funding. So in terms of financials and also stability, we're definitely very stable, and we are very financially sound. So we're not going to be like,
Good.
We're not going to shut.
Hey, before we depart, I want you to know how helpful Andrew always is to every request I've ever made, except screen sharing. But every other request I've made, he's been incredibly responsive.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Andy is awesome. He loves helping everyone. I mean, everybody on our team really loves what we're doing and really loves helping others. So that's great that he's able to help you so much. Really glad to hear that.
The customer service is phenomenal.
Oh, great. And cool, awesome. So one last thing that I was going to mention, since they showed up, to this presentation, I was also going to give you guys a preview of what's coming next week. We're actually changing up the pricing model next week. So this is still in the works, and we're not going to release it until probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. But you guys can help me keep a little secret, which is starting next week. We'll be actually offering a new model where you can actually host public communities free of charge. So right now, every community is $20 a month, regardless if private or public. But after next week, you'll have the ability to basically, if you want to host a public community, to share your knowledge and share your conferences with anyone you want. You can do it for free, and anybody can do it for free. So that's which we're working on it right now, and we should be able to make it available very soon, sometime next week.
I have a question.
Okay.
I was curious with the growing popularity of Google Hangouts and front-end tools being built on top of Google Hangouts to give greater conferencing abilities and stuff like that. I was curious as to where you thought or you see BigMarker in comparison to Google Hangouts, and if and like, was it Google Air, Hangouts on Air or something like that? Anyway, if you saw pressure coming from the Google Hangout world, or you're positioning yourself differently?
That's a really, really good question. So in terms of before Google Hangouts and come out, we've always been compared to GoToMeeting, WebEx, and then we had when Google Hangouts came out, and now we're getting more questions, how are we different? So in terms of our differences, in terms of the conferencing abilities, in technology there's several differences. Our conferences and I think Google Hangout can do up to 10 people. For us, you can have up to 12 people sharing a web camera. And of course, any number over 10 for Google Hangouts, you have to switch to Google Hangouts on Air, which is visible by everybody and that's on YouTube. So instead of like, so right now we can still have a pretty intimate and interactive session with less than 10 people, but anything over 10 people, they have to watch it through YouTube. It's sort of become a one-way stream, and the interaction goes down. So that's why when people want to host a larger scale web conferences, webinars, the BigMarker may be a better solution than Google Hangouts, because you want to have the continuous questions, continuous engagement versus only limit to 10 people. The other aspect is really about discovery. So for us, we really want to host conferences and be able to meet new people, attract other people that's passionate about what you're doing, want to learn about what you're doing, and meet with you. So that's saying, in terms of that, the world is your stage, and it's really about meeting new people. Versus on Google Hangouts, it's really meeting with people that you already know. That's, you want to hang out with people that's currently in your circle. So the ability to really list the Hangouts in a categorized fashion for other people to search it, to attract people that really want to do what you're doing, is a little bit more difficult. So in terms of that's a bigger difference. And of course, the other big difference that we have is, we have the BigMarker community that's built really towards connecting people continuously between conferences, so they can stay engaged and also keep updated. So in those fronts, there's a lot of variations that's when we compared with Google Hangouts. In terms of video conference components, there's the technical limitations on Google Hangouts, and versus us with a bigger conference room and also a bigger webinar room, so more engaged. But of course, if there's people that's only looking for to have small meetings, in that case, like Google Hangouts is probably like a better solution. You're just looking to do like small in-house meetings. So it definitely depends on the use case. Does that make sense?
The only part I'm not clear on is I would think that Google Hangouts being on the Google platform would actually allow a conference and whatnot into a wider circle of attracting new people, just because you have the power of Google behind you in terms of search engine, getting in their search engine with the Google Plus profiles and stuff like that. So I'm not clear how BigMarker would have an advantage over attracting new people.
And that's a really good point, because you're right. I mean, Google Plus and Google Hangouts, as well as Google Plus communities, are definitely making a lot of traction. I mean, they're for Google to reach from 0 to 1 million users, it took them 14 days for Google Plus. Right? And because yes, Google is definitely very powerful. But I always say, like, the advantage of BigMarker is actually, we're not Google, that we're very unique, and people know us strictly as the way to conduct interactive web conferences. And then you think of the Google Plus, not that many people go on Google Plus just to find Hangouts. I mean, that's one of the features that they have, but not their specialty. So for us, that we really want to make that as our main focus, really make the conferences discoverable, allow you to meet other new people, and give you recommendations of who should be attending your conferences or which type of conferences you should attend, to make the experience more engaged in terms of attending the right type of conferences, the related type of conferences. If that helps. All right.
Yeah, it gives a little bit of differentiation there.
Okay. Cool. I mean, like, I hope we're gonna do this more often. So this was really fun. So, of course, if you have anytime you have any questions, Andy already posted this email, hello@bigmarker.com, or you can email me directly. My email is Z. It's pretty simple. Z@bigmarker.com. So can always email me directly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank
Right.
you for putting this on. This is very, you know, it's interesting.
Awesome. Glad you found it helpful. Cool. Bye, everybody. And